What's going on, everybody? Mike here. Gonna do another teardown for you. Today we're gonna do a Motorola Moto Edge 2024. Cool phone. If you have one of these and you are trying to figure out how to do a teardown on it and fix some issues that you're having with it, we'll do a teardown, show you how the battery comes out, how the charging port comes out, and how to get to the bare bone, like screen frame portion of it. So let's get right into it. So just as always, a reminder, when you're doing a teardown, there's potential to damage the phone further than what you're trying to actually fix, so please be careful. Especially with the battery, you can cause a lot of harm to yourself, to the battery. So if you're not comfortable with it, have a professional do it. If not, give it. If you want to give it a whirl, then give it a whirl. So let's get right into it. First thing we want to do is pull out the SIM tray. So we'll just pop that out real quick. Here's a little SIM popper. And throughout this video, guys, it's obviously a little bit harder to take a phone apart when there's a camera in front of you. So if you guys see anything that you'd like that doesn't look right, or you think could look a little bit better, just let me know, and I'll do my best to make adjustments for future videos. Any feedback, good or bad, always helps. So I'm here to listen. First thing, so let's get right into this. The first thing we got to do is heat up the back to get the back cover off. You don't want to get too crazy with it. My heat gun's not that great that I have been doing for these videos, but because otherwise you'll start warping the back cover. And you grab a spudger or a plastic one like one of these. I prefer the metal spudger that I'm used to. That's what I've been using. So kind of get right in between where the back cover and the frame meets and gently slide up, because you don't know if there's any wires underneath, so you don't want to snap anything in the process. You can also just use your finger to lift up too as you're going. That way you're not, overdoing it. So you can see the heat's wearing off, so it's getting a little bit harder to push. You don't want to pull too much, only because you don't know, like I said, if there's anything attached to it. At the same time, you can bend this and actually rip it at the same time too. So the hardest part is going to be around the camera. I like to just push up a little bit. There we go, and that's off. A little pro tip for you guys, if you're putting this back on, you're gonna reuse this back cover. Clean this up a little bit. It'll make it easier to go on. And please, for the love of God, do not use super glue. They sell, little glue kits, basically. It's just like the strip you put on in here in place and then stick it on. It sticks way better, and it doesn't have like a weird smell or overlap. And then if you do need to go back into it, you can actually get into it, because then if it's over, you put super glue on top of it, it's not going to come back off, and it's going to become a pain for everybody to deal with. So we got the back cover off. If we want to replace the camera lens, we would actually heat this up again a little bit. I'll just do that real quick for you guys so you guys can see. And then just take your spudger again that you're using. And there's no real correct way to get into a phone. You find what works best for you and you do it that way. I'm not gonna tell someone's doing something wrong if they're using a different tool than I am. Here's your camera lens. That's out. You can see a little sticky residue left over in the back cover. You see how that's kind of already warped a little bit from all the heat. That's why you don't want to do too much heat. Otherwise, if you're going to reuse this, it's not going to be a little bit harder to put that back in. If you do like the metal spudger like I use, like here's another pro tip for you, is I actually use like a file and sand down the edges to make it a lot easier to get in between the corners. I do it on both sides. It makes my life a lot easier than, it's a little bit too thick then to get through. So just a heads up, it makes my life easier. This is what I use. If you were to do the same thing, I'd recommend, you know, kind of filing down the edge to make it a little bit more sharper, a little bit easier to get in. So now we got to get all these screws out. If they want to come out today. If you're using an electric screwdriver, once you hear them do like a little tap, 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 that usually means it's out. And I'll be getting in that one. I do apologize, I'm moving the phone around a lot. It's a little hard to do this with the camera in front of your face. If you are just doing the charging port, you could actually get away with just unscrewing the bottom. But otherwise you'll have to unscrew everything. Let me just double check that I got all the screws out of here. I tend to miss one or two sometimes. And I did miss one, I already see it. Alright, there it is. If you go to, when you go to start prying up these, the mid frames, usually if you feel some pressure, you probably have a screw still in there. It's very easy to miss, especially when you're trying to go fast. So let's pop this out. Once again, I use my metal spudger. It's my like all-purpose tool. Love the thing. And then let's get to the bottom here. I might have missed a screw over here. There's sometimes a screw under these plastics. See, I did miss one. It's right there. Alright, so this should just pop out. You can take the sticker with you too. This is just a little cover plate. Oh, sorry. This is just a little cover plate, so we got that out. And then we will have some screws underneath on the motherboard and on the charging port. I'm going to do this port in the bottom portion first. So we'll lift up these connectors. Lift those back. We got a screw right there. And we have some of these coaxes that are in the way as well too. So let's lift this up real quick just to get it out of the way a little bit. Really focus on getting that strip out of the way first. Alright, now that's out of the way. Take this screw out. I don't know why they ran this all the way across to the other side over top something. Seemed like a really odd design to me, but I'm not the one who designed the phone. I just work on the phone. Let's move that out of the way. Let's see if the speaker will come out from the side first or not. It will, kind of. This metal piece out. It's just like they're asking you to want to cut this wire. Alright, so we got the little cover plate off. You can see that. And then we have you have your fingerprint, your in-screen fingerprint readers right there. So pop that out gently without breaking it. Yep, that's out. we got these coaxes lifted. Make sure there's no other screw that I'm not seeing. Let's see if we can pry this back a little bit. You don't want to pull in the speaker because you can see there's a connector under the speaker right there, and that would mess it all up real bad for you. There's usually a nice little spot once you get it going. It starts going for you. Yep. You get the first side piece. I forgot this one has the double spot. So you have, this one has two boards at the bottom. You have your SIM reader and your SIM reader / microphone board down here. And then you have your charging port board right here. And this one just lifts up. You just pull this back a little bit. You lift it up. I haven't done one of these in a while. Alright, there's your charger port, nice and free. So if you're done with that, you would just replace that part and continue on putting the phone back together. Now we can get this loudspeaker out. You just have this connector over here that we just have to gently pry up without breaking it. Don't pull on this way, it's just, you're just asking for trouble that way, to be honest with you. Just slightly pry up gently like that. And there is your loudspeaker. Then you have your vibration motor right there. We'll pull that out too while we're here. Also, if it's, seems like it's a little stuck, I would just apply a little bit of heat to it and it should come right off. So we'll go gently under here. All right. So now we have left these coax. There's a screw right there for one of the coaxes. The coaxes are running too close to the battery line, so we're not going to try to pull those up right now. That's just kind of asking for trouble. Generally speaking, you don't really need this piece. You can keep it on or take it off. I'll leave it on just if you're trying to put the phone back together. And you want it on to be the same, so I'll leave it on for this video as well. So let's start unplugging all this good stuff over here. All right, so we got all that unplugged. You have your board up here as well too. Let's unplug that right there. Then front camera. Let's unplug that a little bit and then push this out this way. That's out, and we got a screw right there. We got to get before we can even attempt to pull the motherboard out as well too. So get that screw out first. I'm gonna take out this screw down here too as well, just in case, because I'm already here. Oops, up into the camera. So that's out. All right, so we got that out. So next we can move on to unplugging the motherboard. So you have these connectors over here too still, so we have to get those off first. One, there's two, there's three. All right, so we got those off. And then we'll just start slowly pushing up, finding the loose spot. There's usually a spot when you're pulling these out where it's gonna feel like it doesn't want to go, and that's the spot you don't want to use. If you find the spot where it feels like it's actually moving, you don't want to force it, especially if you're trying to save a lot of the parts and see what you're snagging at, because sometimes it'd be something silly you forgot to unplug, and you're making it worse than better. lessons that I've learned throughout the time, through my past. So we got that out, that's the board. We got the camera still attached to it, so let's take off the camera. I like to keep my camera together, that way I know it's my set. We got one camera, two camera. There we go. It's the rest of the board. Nothing fancy. Let's set this to the side. All right. So what we got left is the ear speaker, these coax antennas, and the battery. So let's get the battery out of the way first, because we will need some heat for the ear speaker. It just makes it a little bit easier. Not too much though, because it will fall apart on you, but just a little heat goes a long way. But I want to heat the battery first. And they did make these batteries a little bit easier to remove compared to the past. It used to be like glued on with like, I don't know, the world's strongest glue in the past, but they do come up pretty easily. You want to just use one of these spudgers and kind of get in and gently pry. Don't want to overdo it. You do not want to puncture the battery. If you puncture the battery with this or another metal tool, it will catch on fire, and that would not be a good thing. And trust me, I've done that before in the past when I was learning how to do this. So it's not fun. Learn from my mistakes. So there's your battery, nice and out. And then we have the flex cable here, and we have this ribbon here on the side. And realistically, we can just grab all three of, all three of these, and you can just pull up. There's only just a piece of tape holding them together at this point. There we go. There's your ribbon connectors. Those are out. So now all we got left is you have this ribbon to gently pull it. All right, get the ribbon out. And let's do the ear speaker. So since my tool is a little bit sharper, I prefer to use this on this portion. This bottom portion to get where the connectors meet, so they can get really smooth line under here and lift it up without pushing it back. And then go in with my screwdriver. They actually throw in a spot where you should actually be prying from to make sure that you don't actually break it. It looks like it's from this side over here, but let's gently get that out of the way. Actually, I lied. Looks like it's over here. No, I'm gonna go back to this spot. There we go. And I'm pretty sure I messed the speaker up a little bit, but it's fine. There's your speaker. It's out. This metal portion doesn't really matter that much, to be honest with you. So if you do mess that up and it's still attached, it's not the end of the world. But that's where a little bit of heat goes a long way. But it's, like I said, not the end of the world on that portion. If you need to replace the buttons, we'll show right here. Especially if the flex goes bad. Kind of out of luck unless you want to take off the screen. So this is you have the screen on top, and you have the LCD digitizer, and then you have the buttons underneath that. So you have to lift this up, and there's realistically no way unless you have an LCD separator, there's really no way you're going to take that off without breaking it. So usually a screen replacement would make more sense when you're doing a screen replacement to do that. So that is how you do a Motorola Edge 2024. If you guys have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment and let me know. Let me know what I could do better, or if I'm doing good, just let me know too. Subscribe, share, do what you gotta do. Appreciate it. Thanks guys, have a good one.